What's up guys, Overman here, and in today's video we're gonna talk about Bungie's weekly update that came out I think last week, where they talked about vault space. They said that we're gonna be getting vault space in April. So if you haven't heard, which I'm sure you have heard, we're gonna get 24 spaces for armor pieces and 24 spaces for general items. So that's an increase of 4 spaces for those, and we're gonna get 36 weapon slots. So that means we're gonna get an extra 16 slots for weapons, which is nice, but it's kind of low. You know, a lot of us thought that we'd be getting a lot more, and some of us actually thought that the vault would get remodeled and organized a little bit better. However, that wasn't the case, and Bungie knew people would be wondering why that was. Why is this such a small update? Well, Bungie has said that they were looking for a short-term solution. First of all, they said they wanted to get the vault space to us as soon as they could and make it work within the game. Now, the reason why there's not any more spaces is because old gen can't really handle it, and when old gen, that being Xbox 360 and the PS3, get this update, they will no longer have the ability to compare a weapon that's in the vault to a weapon that they're holding at the moment. And that's because the memory is kind of maxed out on the old gen. And because of this, a lot of people on forums are out here blaming people on the old gen and saying that they're the reason why Destiny isn't a better game. And that, my friends, is fucking insane. I don't know why these people insist on defending Bungie so much that they would blame their fellow gamers for the reason why the game that those gamers did not develop is not as good as it could be. You know whose fault that is? That is Bungie's fault. And I'm not saying that the PS3 and the Xbox 360 shouldn't have Destiny, but I want to draw your attention to something else, another game, Grand Theft Auto 5. I played that game on PS3, and when it was coming out for the PS4 and the Xbox One, they were getting extra features. They had first person mode, and they had a bunch of other things because the new gen consoles obviously had more capabilities. One example of this is that I built a racetrack on the PS3, and I had a limit on the amount of props I could put in that racetrack. On the PS4 and Xbox One, the limit for the props was a lot bigger, obviously because they had more memory. So you see, Rockstar made it so that the PS4 and the Xbox One had greater capabilities than the old gen, but they still kept the game running on the old gen. The game ran totally fine and it was fun and everything. However, that's not the case here with Destiny. Bungie knew exactly what they were doing when they developed this game for the old gen. They chose to sell the game on the old gen because a lot of people had old gen. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine because a lot of people didn't make the transition because there wasn't really much of a reason to do so, and some people couldn't because this shit is fucking expensive, man. And honestly, if it wasn't for YouTube, I would never buy a PS4 because that shit was pricey as fuck, man. But I digress. Back to the topic at hand. Bungie is basically using the old gen as a cop-out, as a lame ass excuse not to optimize the new current gen. I don't see why they can't do what Rockstar did and make improvements to the new gen but keep the game functional on the old gen, considering that's exactly what they're going to do with the new vault space update. The old gen is not going to be able to compare weapons that they have on them equipped with the weapons in the vault. However, the new gen will be able to do so. So my question is, why can't they just add more shit to the new gen and leave the old gen the way it is so it can still be functional? I don't see what's the big deal about that. The reason why they're not doing that is because they're fucking lazy. They don't need to do that when they can get away with doing the absolute minimum. And that's what Bungie has been doing ever since this game came out. They've been doing the absolute minimum. I was talking with one of my subscribers earlier, his name's Jason Jones. I said that one of the problems in Destiny's Crucible is that these special weapons are being used as primary weapons because special ammo is so readily available. Every time you die, you respawn right next to a fucking box, you just press square and pick it up, and you go shotgun somebody in the fucking face with it, right? This problem has been in Destiny's Crucible since the very beginning. How many times has Bungie nerfed special ammo drops? None. They haven't done anything to stop people from running around with special weapons all game. They've nerfed auto rifles a bunch of fucking times. I don't know why they can't adjust the amount of special ammo that's in the Crucible. It still hasn't happened, and it's now March. This game came out in what, September? That's a long fucking time to fix something so simple. And I'm not saying that Bungie should have made this game perfect instantly, but they could have tried to move it closer to perfect. They could have tried to improve it. I mean, maybe they are trying on their end, but they're putting in a very small amount of effort, guys. Updates come out very slowly. I mean, look at pulse rifles. We've been complaining about pulse rifles since September, since day one, man, and it took them 6 months to buff them? I think that's a little bit ridiculous, don't you? How many pulse rifles have you dismantled because pulse rifles sucked, but maybe those pulse rifles rifles had great perks, and now you can't have them because you dismantled them because they sucked. And you were sick and tired of waiting for Bungie to buff pulse rifles. I know I did that. I dismantled tons of pulse rifles, man, and I'm sure there were a lot of them that were really good. And I realize I've been babbling and I'm off topic, but it really pisses me off when people are stupid. You know, the people on old gen are not at fault here. It's Bungie. I don't see why people can't just criticize Bungie for what they haven't done with the new gen, because that's the truth. Because the people who are on Xbox 360 and PS3 are not developing this game. They are not making the decisions. They are not calling the shots. Bungie is calling the shots. Bungie chose to develop this game for the PS3 and Xbox 360, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong is that they chose to keep the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions the same, the exact same as the Xbox One and the PS4 versions. Take it from me, guys. I had a PS3, I upgraded to PS4. There's no difference besides the pixels and some load times. So if you want to criticize somebody, criticize Bungie. Do not criticize your fellow gamers. I really hate that about the gaming community. I hate that sometimes you blame other people for shit that they didn't even fucking do anything. They're just enjoying their game. Why the fuck you gonna blame them? Blame the developers, guys. You have nothing to gain by defending Bungie. I don't see why people do this. They do this with more than just Bungie. This problem is one that stretches all across the gaming community, because developers have been using this tired ass excuse. Oh, we can't do more with the game because we're coding for the old gen and the new gen at the same time. Man, shut the fuck up. You can make the game better on the new gen. I know to a certain extent, yes, the old gen will hold back the new gen. I know. The games that are made for all platforms are not as pretty as games like Infamous Second Son, right? I get that. But you can add more features. To the new gen consoles. A lot of games do this. Like I said, Grand Theft Auto 5 does this. Battlefield does this. I had Battlefield on the PS3 and then I had Battlefield on the PS4. On the PS3, there's less people in the game, so it's like 12v12, so 34-man lobbies, I believe, something around that. But on PS4, you can have 64-man lobbies, which is freaking insane on Conquest, man. It's way more fun. So if DICE could do that with Battlefield 4, why the hell couldn't Bungie do that with Destiny? You know those big ass maps, you know, Sky Shock, First Light, Bastion. Why the hell are those 6v6 maps? Why aren't they 9v9 or something like that? Why aren't there more people? Those maps would be so much more fun if there was more people on the maps. And yeah, you probably couldn't do that on the old gen, but I am sure you could do that with the new gen. I just think Bungie's being very lazy, and their updates come out really fucking slow, and I'm sick of people defending Bungie. People defend Bungie like it's their fucking family or something. That's not how this shit's supposed to work. The way capitalism is supposed to work is that the consumers should band together. The consumers should be on the same side, and the developers, the sellers of the product, should be on the other side. You're supposed to call it like you see it, and you're supposed to criticize the developers for their product. You don't criticize the consumers for the product. That's insane, especially in this context. Well, that is enough babbling for this video. If you liked and if you agreed with what I said, please don't forget to drop a like. And if you're not feeling too shy, drop a comment below and go ahead and rant along with me, man. You know it always feels good when we rant together. And if you want to become a member of the Overman Army, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's it for me though. Overman out.